Hello and welcome back. We've gotten a lot of requests about our favorite games, and it's kind of weird to us, I guess, because we play a lot of them, we like a lot of them. But we did rankings, and every year I do it one or two times. I think I do it more than you.
I usually get one done. He ever so often gets in the mood and starts ranking.
Yep. And so what we figured is we'd do a video of our top 10. And so we'll start off with our tens, and my first one is the Power Play Team Building card game by Cryptozoic. Now, Cryptozoic Games has a series of these. They're deck builders. So what you have is a starting deck of cards, and you use those cards to buy additional cards. This is all hockey themed. You have a special power based off the captain you get. You either buy cards or take a shot on goal. And what you have to do is get enough shot ability to defeat him. And the attackers give you more cards plus a benefit if you're taking shot on goal. Defenders can make it harder to take the shot on goal. It's a really great game. It's definitely my favorite deck builder. Well, actually, no, it's not.
It's also a great beginner game because unlike Dominion where you have to worry about buys and actions, it's just whatever you have you can use, and it makes really easy to teach.
Yep.
Plus, obviously, it's very thematic. If someone likes hockey, they're going to enjoy that. It'd be nice if they would release some newer players.
Yeah, it's a bit old now.
My number 10 is Catan Rise of the Incas. Now, I in general like Catan. He does not, although I'm kind of winning him over because the kids enjoy it. But this is my favorite currently of the histories. I love the histories. I think we own most of them, or at least have owned most of them. And I love how this, you decline your civilizations, your roads actually disappear, which our youngest found just
very unhappy,
shattering when his roads disappeared. He will not be playing this version again. But I really enjoy it. It's very much Catan, but it has its own unique flavor. And it's really cool as the board. You can actually, someone's on a on a corner where they've got their city. Well, then when they decline, you can kick them out of that and you can take that spot. So it's really neat to see how the game and the board really changes over the entire game. So.
Yep. My number 9's a newer one, and I foresee this going up. My background is in aviation. I like to fly. I am a pilot, not an airline pilot, but I am a pilot, commercially rated. I teach aviation, and so the theme intrigued me, but I found out that this wasn't just a theme game, though the theme stands out in it. This is a kind of light to medium Euro game with worker placement, resource management. You're trying to manage your routes, and you're actually trying to be bought by Pan Am. You are not Pan Am, you're trying to be bought by Pan Am, and at the end of the game, whoever has the most stock in Pan Am wins. I was really surprised. I like this one a lot, and it's seen play. So far, we think it's probably best at 3 players. 2-player, it works. 3-player, it was really good.
I think it might even be better at 4 players. It's got a bidding mechanic in it, and usually bidding in 2-player does not work, and it does work here, but definitely was even better at 3 players. Now, my number 9 is Star Trek in a Box, Fleet Captains. And I love this game. This is not my typical type of game. I am not the space game person, but I just love this. I love that you start with the whole board, flip down, you don't know where anything is, and you're exploring. Your ships go out, and it very much feels like you're playing through Star Trek. The biggest thing, the reason it doesn't see as much play, is it takes a long time to set up and then a long time to play. So it's definitely a, day commitment to play, but I really enjoy it. We have all the expansions, even though at this point I think most of them are pretty hard to find, and I really enjoy that aspect of it. I just, I feel like I'm get a day of Star Trek.
Yep. So my number 8 is going to show up later on her list, so we'll talk about it then.
Yeah, and my number 8 is Freedom, the Underground Railroad. Now,
Yeah.
I like all the Academy games. There's been a few I haven't liked, but in general, I love this series. And this one is a co-op. You're trying to help slaves escape on the Underground Railroad. This is the only time I've ever really cried over cubes. And you really feel immersed in the theme, and I really enjoy it. And what's really neat about it is Academy Games is really great about putting out study guides to go with their games. So if you want to use this as a teaching tool, you totally can. And I know there's a lot of people who have kids at home, either doing virtual school or doing homeschool, and this gives you a great option. Any of their games does. If you want to take a theme and do something fun with it as part of your unit. Obviously, it's not going to teach the whole subject for you, but it'd be a great way to integrate something fun into it. And as I said, they've got those study guides. They're available for download for free with any of the games you have. So, but really enjoyable. All the different cards have a lot of flavor text in them that talk about real events and people.
Well, and nobody has to be the slave catchers. That's an automatic thing, so that's really cool. Okay. So my number 7, and I'm making sure I'm getting the order right, is Starcadia Quest. Starcadia Quest is not a dungeon crawl, just like Arcadia Quest isn't a dungeon crawl. This is, if you've ever played the video game Gauntlet, and that's an old game, right? Showed up every once in a while, where you're just going through and killing stuff, and that's what this game is. Except you're also, you have to, in order to complete the scenario, at least somebody's got to off somebody else in another team. It's fun, it's wacky, it's quick, comparatively. I mean, some are pretty long. Unless you have a 10 and a 12-year-old playing. Then you got to keep drawing them back. It works great. I've enjoyed it immensely. Probably got 5 or 6 plays into it. We're going to finish a campaign tomorrow. And it just flows. And it flows better than Arcadia Quest, in my opinion. They've refined it some. I really like it. Starcadia Quest.
Our kids like it too. The biggest thing for them is there's a lot of downtime, which with an adult, when you're talking, you're having fun, not a big deal. It is a big deal with a 10 and 12-year-old, and it just expands the time frame.
Yep.
But otherwise, it's fun, and I enjoy the way they did the characters. We're on 7. My 7 is Reichholt, and I love the farming theme. I enjoy the greenhouses and building and making all my little vegetable gardens. What's really neat about this is a very interesting scoring mechanic. Your scoring track, you actually get to skip one each turn, and you actually get the resources for it versus pay them out. So, you know, each step on the scoring track is like, I need to pay so many vegetables. Well, you get to pick one each turn that, no, I'm going to eat at that table. And instead you get those back, and then you can do it at the beginning, the middle, anywhere in that whole thing. So, you know, you look at the next 4, you only have to have 3 of the 4, and you get to decide which one you're going to eat at, and you get those resources. So it's really neat. I love the greenhouse theme. I like the really nice components, the component quality, and that all the different little vegetables. It's a lot of fun. I think the theme comes through really well, and as I said, it's got a very unique scoring mechanism that makes it a very different game.
Yep, I think that's an excellent one too. That's pretty high on my list. I don't know where it is, but it's probably top 20. All right. I guess my favorite deck builder, and I'm verifying now, my favorite deck builder is still Legendary. This is an older one. And yes, it is possible. I can hear some of the gamers out there going, but you can game it. You can. If you get, I saw somebody put all the Wolverines together one night at a game store, and that meant they kept drawing cards and they just annihilated it. Yeah, you can game it, but for the most part, I find it fun and challenging. We tend to do either teams based on the movie we just watched, because this is Marvel, but we also have Big Trouble in Little China, Legendary. There's also another set, which is Legendary Encounters, which is Firefly, Predator, Alien, X-Files. Big Trouble in Little China and James Bond are these styles. So you could actually combine them. But basically it's a deck builder. You're going to build it, build your deck based off of a foundational deck, and you buy cards to put into it. At the same time, you have to actually defeat villains or the game could win. It can be played semi-co-op where the person who got the most bad guys or the biggest bad guys win, but we always play co-op. It's fun. You're trying to beat the game. And if you do random or you don't game the system, some of these bosses will wreck you.
We've lost pretty miserably at times. I think we've yet to win the X-Files. I usually make him play that every Halloween season, so he's coming up on having to play it soon. But it's a lot of fun. The biggest thing is unlike a lot of the other deck builders, there's actually a fair bit of setup to the game. But other than that, it's really fun. And you feel like you're really fighting the bad guys, or when you're playing villains, you're fighting the good guys. And they're not going into your deck, so you don't get that same feeling of just total disconnect you get in like one of the Cryptozoic ones. And I like the straight Cryptozoic like DC ones, but they definitely do at times feel very... The theme
Themeless.
the theme is like lost. Well, why did I just put all the bad guys I just defeated in my deck and now I'm using them? You know, it makes no sense. But, you know, I can come up with a way. They were brainwashed. My 12-year-old would love to come up with that theory.
Yep.
We're on my number six, right?
Yep.
Okay, my number 6 is St. Petersburg. And this is an engine builder. And we have figured out how to break the game. He knows what never to let me buy again, 2 in combination. But other than that, we've usually had a lot of really fun games with it. I like that, you know, you're building up your workers and then you're getting more and more each time and you can buy cooler things. I also have a degree in Russian history, so I enjoy the theme, even though, is the theme hugely important? No, but I think you could have pasted any theme on it. But the mechanics are really fun. I like how it works and all the different layers. You know, you have your workers, you have your buildings, you have your nobles. There's a lot of different pieces. And if you play more than 2 player, you can add the market. And the market, in the way you manipulate that, can be a really interesting addition. So there's a lot of layers of strategy and thought into this. And, you know, you can put as much effort into it as you want.
All right. So my number 5 we'll talk about later.
My number 5 is Rococo. And this is a worker placement. I love worker placements. You'll notice the top of my list is almost all worker placements. And this is dressmaking, but you don't necessarily have to like dressmaking to enjoy this game. Is the theme? I enjoy the theme, but he likes this game and he has no preference whatsoever on dressmaking theme. But this is really neat because there's a lot of pieces to it as you're deciding, you know, ooh, do I sell this dress or do I put it on display for victory points? You know, do I need the money now or do I want to display it and get victory points for the end? A lot of really good decisions throughout the game. It's a really nice medium weight worker placement and I enjoy the theme, but even if you're not into the theme, you can still really enjoy the game itself because there's a lot of meat to the game.
Okay, so my number 4 is not here. My number 4, it's at one of my friends' houses. We split it because it was a hefty game. Mechs versus Minions. Now, Mechs versus Minions is a board game made by Riot Games, who does League of Legends, and it takes some of those League of Legends characters and basically puts you on robots, and you set yourself up to your turn using various programming aspects. So you program your robot to do something, your mech. What's cool about it is it's a complete co-op. So you do have an AI concept that moves characters around the bad guys. And you're either trying to bowl them over, blow them up, or move a boulder or a bomb, or you've got tons of missions. And eventually it goes to a big bad. The programming aspect of this is just fun. It's hilarious, and it can get messed up. You get some weird damage, and all of a sudden your mech's spinning around in a circle, blowing up everything around it, including friends. It's a great time, and it's probably one of the best produced and best rule set for a programming game. So, Mechs vs. Minions is my number 4. Don't have the giant box.
My number 4 is actually his number 5.
Oh, yeah.
And this is Scoville. This is another worker placement, and this is your pepper farming. And what's really neat about this is you get to build up your pepper field as you go. And then as you're walking through the fields, you're crossbreeding peppers and you're getting different colors of peppers. And then you can then plant, or you can use to make chili. Or you can even sell them for some money, because there are some things you need money for. You bid on turn order each turn. This plays really well at 2 players. We've had a lot of fun with it 2 players, but it's even more fun, I think, at that 3 and 4 mark, because you really get to see that pepper field expand. And you can definitely cut people off as you're trying to get, you're getting up to ghost peppers and there's only, 1 or 2 on the board. And you got to get to that right place, because then there's certain ones that don't make anything. Those brown peppers can really throw it off to you. You got a little breeding chart to keep track of. And once you get going, it's pretty smooth on what makes what. But a lot of fun, and just an enjoyable worker placement. And I like, both, I enjoy the peppers themselves. I enjoy how nice all the different components are. And then I love that, what cool chili am I going to make? The names are tons of fun.
Yeah. Especially the Westastic ones, where you're making the little ones. Those are pretty fun. No, I love Scoville. That is a great, that is probably my favorite worker placement. Yep. That is my favorite worker placement. Islebound. Red Raven Games makes a lot of excellent games. They make a lot of good games. But not all of them stay in our collection because, well, the other things maybe do a little bit better. He tries to put a lot into them. The artwork, no matter what game it is amazing. But Islebound has stuck with our collection, stuck in our collection, because it is, and it does have a lot of different mechanisms. I'd say it's a heavier game where you're trying to control various islands to get points at the end of the game. And each of those islands have actions you can do. And if you control it, somebody has to pay you to use it. It really is, and you're moving around. You've got combat or influence. You also get cards. You can get other aspects and assets that help. There's a lot going on in this game, but it flows incredibly well. And it's up there. I just like it a lot. Need to play it more often, but we tend to play as shorter games because we don't have a ton of time. And so there's that. I think this was pretty high on yours too. I
would bet it's in my top 20. I enjoy it. I enjoy the exploration of going around the different islands, and it works really great 2-player.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure we've played it larger than 2-player.
I don't think we have.
No. Okay. My number 3 wasn't in the collection yet when he did his, or this probably would have been in his top 10. And this is Wingspan. This is an engine builder, and I just love how cool it gets as you get your birds built out, and you get to do like 7 things in 1 turn as you build them out. Now, you don't have to be a bird enthusiast to enjoy this game, but there's a lot of really cool, neat facts on them about each bird, and very enjoyable, and the artwork is just gorgeous. But we really enjoyed it. This is a game that friends owned, and I thought, I don't need it. And then I finally caved and said, yes, I do need my own copy of it. We haven't played the expansion of it yet, but we did buy the expansion for it, and I'm looking forward to playing with that one. Engine building is definitely starting to get, in that tableau building. I enjoy that of like, ooh, this is what I did all this turn. I can see it at the end. I can see that whole array of everything I put out on my board.
Yep. The tableau, getting the cards out in front of you and then chaining how they work, that's just great. All right. I like dungeon crawls. Back when HeroQuest, and no, I did not kickstart the new version of HeroQuest. But back when HeroQuest came out, my brother and I played the crud out of it. I've always liked dungeon crawls, things. We played Descent 2nd Edition, and we played through the base campaign, and it was fun. But Imperial Assault is a refinement of that system, and I think it works significantly better than Descent 2nd Edition. This is probably one of our most played games, universally.
Our oldest son just loves it.
We've played through, I think, 3 campaigns, and he wants to play another one. He wants to get another one started. But you can also play it as a skirmish miniatures game. As a board game, it's 1 versus many. So you got the heroes, you got the empire, And we've been beat up by Vader a lot. I mean, there is that. I mean, at one point we started chucking Luke at Vader, and then running away. Run away! But honestly, I think we've probably played it 30 times, counting the skirmish. My son and I will play the 2-player skirmish, and we've gone through several campaigns. It's a great game. I love it. So
I played Descent, and I didn't enjoy that the entire heroes go, the entire bad guys go. I never liked that. It felt like you didn't get to make a lot of good. You couldn't make any good strategic decisions. You just kind of watch things blow up. This one, because you alternate between turns, it feels like you have much more control and much more strategy in it. And we really, I enjoy it. It's not my type of game, and I still really enjoy it because it's a campaign. You're playing with a group, and it's fun. And if you like Star Wars, obviously that's a plus. But even if you don't, it's a good game. I do like Star Wars, so
that helps.
Yes. Okay, my number 2. Now, you don't necessarily need the huge box we have, but we have the collector's edition of Suburbia because I love it so much. Yep. I need the collector's edition of everything. I did need the collector's edition of this. So in college, I really loved SimCity, and I loved building my little city, but then I didn't want to keep it up. I would be bored. But I built it. Can I be done? That's this. I get to build my little city, and then I'm done. They took all the things I love about SimCity and got rid of all the things I didn't like little hurricanes that came and destroyed your city for no reason. Yeah, I might be a little upset over that. So I really enjoy this. I love building up my cities. We have played this a ton 2-player, and I actually prefer it 2-player to larger. You have to pay attention to what's going on in your opponent's cities because they affect your scoring and how you get things. And I find at 4 players, it's a lot to keep track of. And I'm always missing things or worried that I'm missing things, where if I play it at 2 players, it's really easy to keep track of. So we love this 2-player. And I like the different expansions of it, but really I just the reason I like the expansions is I want more different of the tiles of all the different things. And I love all the different tiles and what can come out. Takes a little bit to set up, but really once it gets going, it plays really quick.
Yeah. It's probably an hour and a half game. 2-player, you can get it down to an hour, and it flows really good. I would probably say that's in my top 20. Our top 20 is probably not that far off. My number 1 surprised me this year, going through the ranking. And just a heads up, we used Pubmeeple ranking engine. You can search for it on Google. I'll put a link in it in the description below. Pubmeeple ranking engine makes it really easy to rank anything. You want to rank your favorite wines, you want to rank your favorite ball teams, you got it. And when we did this is a game we picked up last Christmas in Michigan at a store on clearance. I believe it was 75% off. It was on the clearance table. And I like racing games. And I wanted something heavier than what we had. We have Snowtails, which is really good, and we have Downforce, which is also really good. This was supposed to be heavier, and I saw it, and I was like, well, for 75% off, I'll buy it. Turns out I like bag building. So the mechanism that runs is you have so many cubes in your bag, you draw 7 per turn, and you can use those to buy new cubes, better cubes, or cubes that do different things. So they're all different colors. Or you can move around the racetrack using those cubes. But when you move around the racetrack with those cubes, if you incur wear, so useless cubes are tossed in your bag. So if you just use all high gears, you get more useless cubes. To the point where you can actually lose a turn completely and lose the game to a friend during the time. I think Brianna won. I can't remember. I don't normally keep track of who won. I just remember pulling 7 cubes when I was going for the win, putting them down, and they were all wear cubes. And I sat there as everybody drove past me as I blew a tire. It is a medium weight game. So it does take strategy, and there is some rules that you got to look through, and there's some play to it. but it's really fun. I enjoyed it, especially once we got the 2-player maps. Playing it 2-player probably is what pushed it to 1, and I just didn't know it. So
it is really cool, and it's neat how the theme really works in that obviously you can't push your car to ridiculous things or it's going to break down. And those wear cubes really do come back if you don't pay attention to bite you. So it is fun. I enjoy it, and I agree with him that the 2-player maps really helped us because obviously we play a lot of things 2-player, and for a game to be in our top 10, it has to play well 2-player.
Yeah.
We could like a game that doesn't play well 2-player, but it's probably not going to be in our top 10. Now, a game we've played, my number 1 is his number 8.
Yeah.
And that's viticulture. I love, again, worker placement. I don't even like wine, and I love this game. And I just love all the different things. I love the Tuscany expanded board. He doesn't as much. He likes some of the modules in Tuscany. Yeah. I love the whole board. I love the structures. I'm not a big fan of the cheese making and the arbor stuff, but I really enjoy all the different pieces of it. This is just one of those games that I can play again and again. Yeah. And 2-player, we have this down to the point where we can play it in like 45 minutes.
Set up to end, 45 minutes.
Yeah. Now, I would say this plays good at 3 or 4. Never play at 6. Ever. No. I don't care what the box says. It's lying. Horribly. Don't play at 6-player. But 3 or 4 players, it's really fun. Yep. And definitely, the board is great about that. It scales. So at 2 players, there's only so many slots available each season. There's more at, 3 and 4. There's more at 5 and 6. So it does a good job of scaling and giving you that option of that. It keeps it tight even at 2 or 3 players. So you really do have to think about it. If when you're bidding for that turn order and what you're going to do, going first can really matter sometimes. And, you can definitely keep someone from doing something they need to do by getting in their way. So it's a really good game. I really enjoy it. I do win a lot, but he can beat me because I get distracted by pretty structures, and he's figured that out. So
there's things. You don't need the Tuscany expansion. If you get the Viticulture Essential Edition, you get a lot of the good stuff, but I really think the Tuscany expansion to Viticulture, or they've got an Essential version and the Tuscany Essential version. Tuscany expansions really beefed out the game. It's an excellent game, one of my favorite. So that's our top 10.
Our kids also did their top 10. So if you're interested in what maybe kids would like, you have younger kids and you're interested in what they would do, check out our kids' as well. You'll see that my 10-year-old says I forced him to do it. He was very clear about that.
That's valid. You did.
But anyways, we did do theirs as well, so that way you can kind of see a variety of games. And you'll see that some of these overlap in theirs. Imperial Assault was in our 12-year-olds. So.
Yeah. So that's that.
Thanks for watching.